Hey there, adventurers, and welcome back to another episode of the Awkward Dungeon Master. This week, I want to talk to you guys a little bit about props, and then also show you that one of the ways that I make kind of cool handouts for my players. So I do really enjoy the use of props periodically within my game. I think it lends a sense of importance when you hand something directly to the players. Anytime there's something that's going to be very significant in our campaign, or almost every time, I like to physically give it to my players. I will occasionally use props for fun things too, like treasure. I have like a little treasure chest that I picked up in the woodworking section at Michael's, and I stained it, and sometimes I put all of their loot in there in the form of physical objects so they could actually get the experience of physically raiding the loot. The few times that I've done that too, my players have really enjoyed it. It's like costume jewelry and crap that I pick up from the crafting section, but people like to hang on to it sometimes. I'm sure you've seen those like vials of the appropriate amount of D4 dice that are red for healing potions and things. So it's kind of just a nice little fun touch to add to your games every now and then and give your players something new and interesting to interact with. This week, however, I want to talk to you guys about paper handouts. So I made this missing poster for one of our players' brother that she was going to be looking for, and whenever I handed it to the players, this was really boring to me. I found a stock photo online, and then I just printed it off on the computer. It's super dull right now. Now, there are some things that I'm sure we've all done as kids and stuff to make stuff look more authentic. So I don't use scissors. I just rip the edges. So it's nice and uneven. Sometimes I even let it get a little crazy, so it's unpredictable. So now we have a much more interesting shape at the very least. I'm pretty sure you all know what I'm going to do next, because we've all done this with craft projects at school when we were kids. I am going to say this, I'm doing it inside today for you guys for this video. Do it outside. It's just safer. So do as I say, not as I do. Go outside. No dying. No dying. No dying, kids. I have had times where the burnt parts have gotten really close to the words too. That's okay. You can let it do that. You can let it burn back a little bit more if you want to. Again, just do it outside. Be careful because you are working with fire. For those of you who are nervous right now, I'm not quite done yet. I do want to show you one other thing that I do periodically with these types of pieces of paper when I burn the edges. You can discolor sections of it too on the bottom. You just have to be really careful because the point between what I'm about to do and fire is very close, so just do it gradually. So you can come on to kind of the underside. See, that was fire. But now we have kind of a discolored dot in the middle. There. It cracked a little bit because I let it catch on fire. Again, do as I say, not as I do. Okay, that's more what I was going for. It is kind of a more delicate process to just get the char mark without the burning. I'm so sad. But it's okay. Even that's fine. Honestly, these kinds of things in your world would get torn. They would get holes in them. They would get charred, burned, torn up. You can crumple them to give them another added section. Yep, and now that burned section actually burned out. I'm totally fine with that. It's okay. Because I want this to look worn and weathered to give to my players. That is the whole point of weathering props. As long as you don't burn out anything important, it's okay. I want to discoupler a couple more spots. Watch me put some holes in them, so just do it a little bit at a time until you start to get a little, got some discoloration started, and it did not catch on fire again. So Again, for those of you who have not been watching the channel for a really long time, we did do a +5 to dexterity video pretty early on with my friend Martha, and we talked about quantities of things. So I want to do a little bit more, but I have right now 3 kind of spots that are weathered out in a different way. Do odd numbers. 3, 5, 7 are good numbers. I want a little bit more, but I am not going to go more than 5 weathered spots on this because I think that would be too much. 5 is even kind of a lot, but I want more than what I have now and try to keep it uneven. Humans have a really hard time doing things that are random. I lied, I'm going to go 7 because it looks very boxy. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4 and a perfect little cube there, and I want to break it up. So I lied to myself. We're just going for it. You can even change the angle so the flame is burning in a different way too. Okay, that's nice and all over the place. Kind of want to wipe up some of this ash really quick. Okay, so I just wanted to wipe up the ash that I had gotten everywhere doing this inside, so we don't have to deal with that as much. Now, the next step is kind of messy, but it's very simple. You're going to take some oil of some kind. I'm using olive oil. That is what I've seen recommended online, but honestly, any vegetable oil will work. Olive oil is kind of expensive, so if you have canola in your house for cooking, totally fine. I had forgotten, you're going to need 2 sets of paper towels. You're going to need one for applying the oil, and then you're going to need another set for getting some of the oil off afterwards. And you're essentially just soaking the paper right now. This feels wrong. I promise you it looks so cool when it's done. It's going to darken up this paper and the burn marks that you put on it earlier and let it fully saturate the paper. It's really tempting to just kind of go 1, 2, 3, okay, we're done. No, fully soak the paper in the oil. Otherwise you are not going to get the effect that we're going for here. Everything is soaked. I'm just gonna get some of the oil off my workspace here. Just gonna put all that to the side. Now I have a double sheet of this here so that we can sandwich it in the middle and just kind of press to get all of that excess oil off. So I don't know if you guys can see that, but we have a handout that's kind of semi-transparent. All the weathering on it has darkened up so it's a little bit more, and it no longer looks like a piece of computer paper. It now kind of looks like a piece of vellum, which is the look that we were going for. Is a kind of older style of paper. It does still have some residue of the oil on it, but if you let it sit in the paper towels for a few hours, that will all go away. So now you have this, you can do any kind of fun stuff with it. You can roll it up and turn it into a scroll and tie it with a ribbon and then physically hand it to your players. Or you can do what I've kind of done with some things here. I'm sure you can find bamboo at like a craft store or something. I work at a place that has a lot of bamboo, so I was able to cut some that was overgrowing in an area and make little scroll cases for them. But I can physically, I'm not going to show these to you guys because I haven't given them to my players yet, but I used some colored paper just for an added effect on these ones. But these are prophecies that I'm going to be giving to them in one of my campaigns, and I wanted that to have some weight. So not only did I do the vellum effect on the paper that I wrote the prophecy out on, but I put all the little pieces of the prophecy into these little tubes. So it's almost like I'm giving my players little mystery presents. They seem to get really excited anytime you take the extra effort to put into the game. So when I hand my player this, they're going to be really intrigued because I took the time to do something special for this. So it must be special. So this piece of information is going to carry more weight when it is given to the players. Because I, as the DM, by putting the effort into this, showed them that it is important. It is important to me, it should be important to them. By that same token, I have had players that take handouts and then throw them away. And then later they're like, but we didn't have any information to go on. Like, dude, I handed it to you. I made you a physical thing and I gave it to you. You threw it away. Please appreciate your DMs. We work really hard. Anyway, hopefully you guys enjoyed this video on making your fake vellum paper handouts for your players. I hope your players enjoy them. If you guys decide to try this, please do drop a picture down in the comments or on Twitter so that I can see them, because I'm sure they're lovely. And until next time, keep it rolling, adventurers.